Hey, what's going on, team? It's Ricky with TechBud Solutions, and a very common question that we've been getting lately is when is it the best time to take a trade, or when is it the best time to buy a stock? Like many of you guys know, I'm in Arizona, so I go based off of Pacific Standard Time, especially due to daylight savings. One of the things that I first want to show you is kind of like, I've been known to trade a lot during pre-market hours. That's not something that everyone has access to, and that does not mean that that is the best time to trade. And I'm going to give you a couple different examples throughout this video, so I really hope that I earn your thumbs up, and if I do, feel free to subscribe if you guys haven't done so already. I also do want to remind you and encourage you that if you have any questions whatsoever after watching this video, not just pertaining to our topic, but by any means, any trading related questions, I'm going to put a first link down below. It's actually going to give you free access to our TechBud Solutions Discord chat, and all you literally have to do is click the link below and then send me a direct message within Discord. So let's go ahead and get started. One of the first things that I think that a lot of people get confused is that I'm going to go on over here to pulling this up. And this is the market calendar. So one of the things I think a lot of people overlook or might confuse is that the market opens Eastern Standard Time right at 9:30. Pacific Standard Time, the market opens at 6:30. So when the market opens, people think that you should be automatically encouraged and empowered to trade. And I get that in the sense that there's a lot of volatility. So if you're going to be asking the question, when is it the best time to trade? I don't think that it's at market open, or I don't think it's the last hour known as power hour. One of the things that a lot of people overlook is that people try to figure out or try to think, when does most of the activity happen, or when on average does the most volume occur within normal trading hours? And I would have to say within the first 30 minutes to hour, right, of the market open, right? So you guys could see that this is pre-market hours, regular hours, this is based off of Eastern Standard Time, and then this is after market hours. So a lot of you will not have access to trade pre-market hours, and a lot of you will not have access to trade after market hours. If you have the TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim platform like myself, I can trade pre-market, I can trade aftermarket, but that does not mean that that's the best time to trade. And again, just hold on with me. So during normal market hours, the market opens 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So when does most of the activity on average happen? Within the first 30 minutes to an hour, right, of the market open, and then the last hour of market open. So how that looks like for me, right, is from 6:30, which is when the market opens here in Arizona, all the way up to about 7 to 7:30, there's a lot of activity, right? And then the last hour from 12 o'clock to 1 p.m., right? That's power hour. And again, the volume begins to, on average, pick up. One of the things that I want to remind you is just because most of the activity happens within that time does not mean that that is the best time to trade. And I think that this is, again, a very simple concept that a lot of people overlook. Let me present to you. I'm going to give you two examples. A real example when it comes down to trading, in that time has no actual correlation to when you should actually take a trade, but the actual idea of when the opportunity presents itself. And then I'm going to give you an example that is not just solely designed for the stock market, that I think a lot of you can actually relate to. So let me go ahead and pull up my platform. For those that are familiar with the TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim platform, this is it. You can Google it, you could YouTube it. This is not the only platform that you can use, but this is the one that I use. One of the things that I want to point out, quick little update on my profits, is $1,092 on the day. And again, all I do is just day trade. So, what does an ideal setup look like for me? If I were to think, when is the best time for me to take a trade? I have a very simple answer for that. And it's when the opportunity presents itself. We all see opportunity in different ways. And just because I see value in one way does not mean that that is the only way to see value. And you'll see a lot of very opinionated people on YouTube that say that this is the only time that you should take a trade, or this is the only setup that you should actually trade. At the end of the day, you are the final decision maker on where you choose to buy and where you choose to sell. So what you have to at least be empowered to be is to be selective, to understand what that ideal setup looks like for you. And for me, I'm going to give you an example of what that looks like for me. I trade a lot of ETFs and a lot of ETNs. So what I pay attention to are overall futures. And when I see /CL sell off, and then it became super overbought, super overextended, this was right around 6 o'clock to 6:15, This was during pre-market hours. And one of the things that I noticed is that I try to focus on direction. It's been selling off. It pushed up very aggressively. And because it pushed up very aggressively, it became super overbought. Look at the RSI, and super overextended. Look at the MACD. So once and if I begin to get confirmation of a pullback, I see the inverse ETF. So when crude oil begins to pull back, DWT, right, the correlating inverse ETF, then begins to push up. And this is exactly what happened right around 6:15. Once /CL began to make lower lows and sell off, then DWT begins to push up. I like to focus on those specific setups. That is what an ideal setup looks like for me. When something becomes, and again, I couldn't trade during this time, but when something becomes so overextended and I can trade and buy the dip on the inverse ETF at confirmation, then I can add more to my position size at the on the inverse ETF. That is what an ideal setup looks like to me. There's a lot of people that focus on ascending uptrend patterns. And what do I mean by that? Where they first focus on something that's showing signs of an uptrend, and they'll try, as long as it continues to rally and push up and it indicates an upward pattern and the margin of profit is worth it, that they'll continue to buy the lows, sell the highs, buy the lows, sell the highs. We all have different ways of seeing value. But I just wanted to explain to you that, like right now /CL literally just did almost pretty much a double bottom, and you can see that it builds a support around this general area, right? And now it's beginning to show signs of an uptrend. Although it is a descending pattern, what am I waiting for right now? I still have not hit my daily goal. My daily goal, on average, a goal is something to work towards, not something that you have to hit every day. Yesterday is a perfect example. I had a red day, right? But today I'm on track, and I want to not just take a trade right now because I can, but take a trade because it makes sense. And what does that look like for me? So I'm going to wait for crude oil to push up, become super overextended, and then when it becomes overextended, because the overall direction of crude oil is a descending pattern, I then want it to sell off. And once I get indication of a sell-off, I'll go into DWT, buy the dip, and then average up as long as crude oil continues to sell off. And that is what the opportunity, that is then what I'm waiting for. And then the question comes back to, when does that happen? Whenever the opportunity presents itself. You have to first understand what you are looking for. If you do not understand what you are looking for and what an opportunity looks like, right, in your eyes, not based off of my opinion or not based off of other people's suggestions, but in your experience, then that is the number one thing that you have to check off your list. Once you have an ideal setup in mind, then all you have to do, and it's super difficult, right, because everyone does not do this, it's be patient enough for that opportunity to present itself. So now I want to give you a real world example. Let's say that you are a real estate investor, something that a lot more people are very well versed with, right? A lot more people understand the real estate market and what it means to be a real estate investor. So just because a house is listed in the MLS, right? So when a house is posted for sale, it's listed in the MLS, right? So like, let's say you have this software that will automatically alert you when a house is listed within your area. Does that mean that you are going to buy that house as a real estate investor? So what does that mean? To buy a house to then sell it for a profit. Does it make sense that you're going to buy that house just because it's posted, or just because it just recently posted, so it has to be a good deal? So then why are you, when the market just opens, so empowered and encouraged to take a trade right away? What does a savvy real estate investor actually do? They make sure that they wait for the opportunity to present itself. They have a certain set list of criteria that every single house has to meet in equity, right? Margin of profit, and making sure that it's potentially in a high demand area, and that the overall maybe expenses when it comes down to that specific house, if it comes down to needing a little bit of repairs, that it actually makes sense and is feasible to his investment, portfolio. At the end of the day, he has criteria that every house has to meet for it to be viewed as an ideal investment. So when it comes down to your trades, right, we're not investing, especially, for myself, even if you are investing, there's a set list of criteria that every single investment has to meet. Same thing with day trading. And I know I'm repeating this so many times, but I want it to stick. When is the best time for you to take a trade? Is it when other people are telling you to buy? Is it when other people are telling you that they just made a bunch of money on a penny stock? No, it's when you can identify a setup that actually makes sense, when there's a reason behind that actual trade, right? So what I'm waiting for right now on /CL makes sense to me. And I don't care if it doesn't make sense to another person. It makes sense to me. And guess what? I'm the one that worked hard for my money, and I'm the one that has the consistent track record. So at the end of the day, I will only take advantage of opportunities that make sense to me. And whether I make a profit or I take a loss, I will at least understand what I did right or what I did wrong and what I can do better next time. The market is always changing, especially in the current market condition right now with it being so inconsistent. So all I ask you to do is to understand that there is no exact time that you need to take a trade, but it comes down to the core principles of understanding what an opportunity looks like to you and allowing it and being patient enough to give something time for it to actually present itself. Then for there to be a reason behind that trade. And if you want to be a little bit more selective, right, or a little bit more structured, then make sure that you plan out your trade, where you plan to get in, where you plan to sell, where you plan to cut losses if it doesn't go according to plan. As we know, a lot of our trades do not. But at the end of the day, it comes down to the opportunity, not the time. Is an opportunity going to present itself every single day as a real estate investor? No. Then how is it any different when it comes down to day trading? For all those that are under the PDT rule that are just so encouraged to always take a trade because someone else is doing it or because everyone else is talking about it, again, if everyone else is talking about it and everyone else is making money off of it, then why is only 5% actually successful when it comes down to day trading? Again, be patient, be selective, and have a reason for everything it is that you do. It's not about following the crowd, but making sure that you have a full understanding of what it is that you're doing to have an edge on the market. Focus within your niche and just stay focused to that. It doesn't matter what time, it just means when the opportunity presents itself, and that's for up to you to decide. So again, I'm going to put that first link down below if you guys have any questions about what I talked about today. If you want to plan out your next trade, again, I'm going to put that Discord link for our TechBud Solutions Discord chat. It's absolutely for free, and all I want to do is answer any trading related questions that you guys might have. If you guys want to join our free Facebook group, we run the largest one out there with over 223,000 members all over the world, and that's that third link below. You heard me talk about them in this video. It's the Learn Plan Profit group. They are the only group that get to watch me trade live every single day. They see where I buy, they see where I sell, and they see me explain my thought process. So if you see value in my videos, then you'll see value in the Learn Plan Profit team. And again, that is that fourth link below. I really hope that I earned your thumbs up. I really hope that you guys could subscribe. And if you think that this video can benefit anybody that you know, feel free to share this video with them. Like always, guys, continue working hard, continue following dreams, let your passion be what drives your success. Be selective, be patient, make someone smile today. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy.